This and every episode of REKT Podcast is brought to you by Beaksy Exchange, an upcoming cryptocurrency exchange built in collaboration with One Market Data. Beaksy is bringing legacy finance speed, power, and sophistication to crypto for the first time. With 225,000 transactions per second per pair, comparable to NASDAQ, 15 order types on day one, with 25 order types on full rollout, and a dedicated customer support team, Beaksy is setting itself apart from the competition. Check out Beaksy today at Beaksy.com and pre-register today at Beaksy.com/registration to get your free Beaksy exchange tokens. That's Beaksy.com, BEAXY.com.
Randy, and this is REKT.
Hello and welcome, everybody. It's Chamber here, alone again, unfortunately. Bunshu, I did hear from him. He was stuck on a runway somewhere in the U.S. He'll be with us on the next show, but I'm steering the ship again. Last time was okay. Hopefully it'll be even better today. I have with me the man, the myth, the legend, non-dual Randy. Randy, how you doing today?
What's up, Chamberman? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, you know. I always get worried when I'm steering the ship on myself, but things have been going okay. Bunshu, obviously, the leader of the pack here, he has a more of a captain feel about him. So I'm more of the shit talker and the joke maker. So it's I'm a little out of my element today, but we'll make do.
Yeah, I know how that goes. I have Coin Yeezy is the CEO of the crew here too.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think you and me are on similar wavelengths. You know, I think Bunshu is my Coin Yeezy, and so I think we're going to get along just fine today. But before we start, we're just going to take a quick break. We have a great new sponsor, Lolly, and I just want to talk to you about that just for a second. Hey everyone, it's Chamber here. If you're interested in accumulating Bitcoin, you need to check out Lolly. That's Lolli. You can find them at lolly.com and on Twitter at @TryLolly. Lolly is a free browser extension that lets you earn Bitcoin when you shop online. For every purchase at one of the Lolly merchants, you can earn up to 30% Bitcoin back directly to your wallet. Lolly has partnered with over 500 merchants, including Jet, Overstock, SeatGeek, and Priceline. Lolly is safe and completely free to use. And it's a great way to earn and share Bitcoin with family and friends. Don't miss out on your chance to accumulate more Bitcoin for the next bull run. Check it out at lolly.com. That's LOLLI.com, and on Twitter at @TryLolly. And we're back. That was a great commercial. I did a live read, and I think it was pretty good. So, Randy.
Yo.
I got to start by asking the boring questions to start. But how did you get into crypto?
Crypto was an interesting story for me. I guess I heard about it for the first time in 2010.
Oh, wow.
My friend was like, check this out. You can buy drugs online.
That's what I'm talking. I didn't have that friend. I was complaining about it on the last show. I've gone on the record saying I'm a pretty big drug guy, and I've always felt very upset that I never had that friend to introduce me to Bitcoin in like 2000. You saying 2010? That might be the earliest we've heard so far.
Maybe 2011.
Still, if you're, I think the earliest I've heard so far was 2013. So out of almost 100 shows, this is you have the record for the earliest of hearing about it.
Right, heard about it, but did not.
Right,
did not make any financial decisions based
Fair
on
enough.
it.
Fair enough.
I was a broke kid just out of high school, and I heard about it for the first time, and then again 6 years later in 2017, I reached out to Coinyeezy's software development company because I had an application idea. I'm a graphic designer, product designer by trade, and so I had designed this app and I had this idea, and I I had been using this app that was created by Coinbase software company, and it was a beautiful application, and I thought it was so cool. So I just contacted them through their contact form, and who, on the other line was freaking Coinbase. So that's how we met.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, by the way, he liked my idea, and he was like, oh, by the way, have you heard about this thing called Bitcoin? And I was like, yeah, I have no interest in that. Then again, from like friends from college and from friends that I grew up with, multiple times people asked me, hey, have you heard about this Bitcoin thing? Obviously the price was going up, but I didn't even know that at the time. I didn't even know that it was like something that people speculated on. So at some point I realized that all of these, kind of signals were coming to me from multiple different places in my life. And I said, oh shit, I should probably pay attention to this thing. So I went online and watched a 2-minute video and watched a couple of other videos from Andreas. And then I reached out to Coinbase and sent him a long email about my kind of understanding of what the blockchain is and what Bitcoin is supposed to be or was meant to be. And he said, yes, that's a great start. Why don't you, download Telegram and join the Crypto Aquarium and make a Twitter account, basically. So that's what I did. And here we are.
And the rest is history.
I bought some. I bought some for the first time on the day of the BCH hard fork. So
what would that have been?
I think that's August 1, 2017.
I think so, yeah. I think that, I know it was late summer.
And so I obviously I did well with that. But it was really the Twitter stuff. Once it got going, it kind of took on a life of its own, and that's what really got me involved in this stuff full time.
Well, I've been watching you since I've been in crypto. I got in. I bought my first Bitcoin a little later than you did, unfortunately. Maybe like November 2017. But as it was going down, I was trying to get into more things, and I remember there was something like, I know you had something to do with the Pepe cards, correct? You're involved with that as well?
Yeah, I'm a founder of Pepe Dap, which is basically a marketplace where artists can come to us and upload their artwork to our marketplace and then sell that artwork at whatever price they choose.
Now,
Pepe Dap's actually really great.
I have a bunch of those. I'm a big Pepe Dap fan. But there was something prior to that, if memory serves me correct. It was like, was it like Crypto All-Stars or something along those lines?
Crypto All-Stars. That was where I got my start in product within the crypto industry.
And I remember that kind of took off pretty well too, right? It was. I know there was some shit that happened afterwards, but I thought it was pretty popular right off the bat. And then I didn't get involved in that one, but then when I knew you were involved with Pepe Dap, that's when I'm like, okay, I like this idea. I like the idea of collectibles on the blockchain. So no, I've been following you pretty closely for a while now.
Yeah, so Crypto All-Stars was kind of my start. I designed and wrote the copy for the entire website. Basically what happened was a developer reached out to me that I had conversations with from the Crypto Aquarium and from like a private entrepreneurial group within Telegram, and said, hey, I have this idea, check it out. And I was like, dude, we could blow this thing up. This is an amazing idea. And it was basically the idea was you could buy and flip trading cards that were based on the most popular crypto Twitter accounts.
I love that so much. Now at the time, that would have been early 2018.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had just gotten involved with crypto Twitter, but you say that today. I mean, we should try to revive that somehow. I don't know if you're working on that, but that sounds like a great idea.
No, I've leveled up. We're working on much bigger ideas now, but and we'll talk about that later, I guess. But
fair enough.
Yeah, I thought I as soon as I saw the idea, I said this could be huge, and I can design this, and I can write this, and I can market this. So let's do it. So we did, and it blew up. Naval retweeted something about it. Charlie Lee was talking about it. Basically, we had the entire crypto industry. There was no way to avoid Crypto All-Stars, and so everyone was really hyped on it. But at the time, I was very inexperienced. Obviously, both within the blockchain space and within the entrepreneurial kind of my first kind of successful, I guess you could call it business endeavor, but it was really just a project. And I was working with a developer that I did not know personally, and that's really where things went downhill from there. Crypto All-Stars ended up being a failed project, but it taught me so much, and it enabled me to kind of move on into Pepe Dap, and then later Honey Miner,
right.
And now we have multiple things happening that are very exciting. So it was a big enabler for me. One of my biggest failures in life, but it was a huge learning experience. And
well, I think that pays for itself, multiple times over when you have experiences like that, where it's something completely new. You dive in feet first, and maybe it didn't, the outcome wasn't what you wanted, but at the end of the day, you're picking up a ton of valuable information and valuable lessons. And you can obviously tell, like you said, if Pepe Dap, blossomed out of Crypto All-Stars, I mean, you guys, it was a 10 out of 10 when that launched. I would, in my opinion.
Yeah, both of those were huge launches, extremely popular. And what we learned from Crypto All-Stars was that it's not a good idea to create an application that allows users to buy and own, provably own on the blockchain, but not be able to sell them at a price that they choose. So then we created Pepe Dap, which is an open marketplace where
right.
users can purchase and choose their sell price, and creators or artists can upload and choose their initial sell price and their initial supply. So
I remember my favorite part about Pepe Dap, or my favorite moment, was when you had to buy, or you had to have the Kim Jong-un and the Trump cards, and then you would get airdrop the Dennis Rodman card.
Yeah, that was amazing, because
that was my favorite time.
Yeah, it really did play heavily on the memes of the time. And
I love it,
and it continues to do that. We had a hold low not card recently when that whole debacle went down, and we continue to just kind of, I would say, create a history of memes within the crypto space, and that's what we do to this day.
I love it. The little snapshots of the time.
Totally. We have some really funny cards. John McAfee snorting cocaine with a bunch of hookers.
I don't know if you know this. We actually had John McAfee on the show.
Right, and I did know that. And
we showed him his card, and he was pretty impressed himself. So, it was that's fun when you can kind of come full circle, and the guy that you're creating the meme about is a fan. So I thought that was pretty fun too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his camp bought up like hundreds of those cards. Honestly,
that's awesome.
We can't know for sure, but
right, exactly. But I mean, you could probably make a educated guess there. Okay, so let's move on here. Obviously, this is REKT podcast, and we got to ask we got to get some REKT stories out of you. So, do you have a crypto REKT story that you can share with us?
Yeah, so I have a couple of big REKT investment stories within crypto. Generally, anything that was shilled to me by a Twitter trader during my earliest kind of 3 to 6 to 8 months in the space ended up being huge losses. Obviously, since
I feel your pain there.
Yeah, there was like York was like a Komodo maximalist. And I purchased a ton of that and got super wrecked on that. But my biggest REKT experience was on Overstock, OSTK, which is crypto related, right? They invest heavily into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, but and Raven, I believe.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
But there was a podcast or a YouTube interview with the founder of Overstock coming out. And I had heard about the news early, and the price of Overstock at the time was something like $34. And I got the tip, and I bought. I overextended myself in Overstock, and the price went up overnight, something like $44. So it was $10 a share I made, which was really great.
Yeah.
But I wasn't experienced enough to know that it was time to get out.
Right.
And I believe today the price of Overstock is something like $10
oh, no.
a share.
It's so the shitcoin of the stock market.
Yeah. But as the price of Bitcoin continues to go back up, the price of Overstock will mirror that. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can get out at some point. But that is my biggest REKT story, and it
waiting
still,
for $35.
well, hopefully I can get to 20, right?
Yeah, sure. Hey, absolutely. No, I actually just bought, or hopefully bought close to the bottom of, you mentioned Komodo. I just bought a bag of that for the first time. So hopefully that works out. So, no, I'm with you though. I was a big, I didn't know how to trade, and, people who I thought, and, probably well-intentioned folks on Twitter, were shilling some coins that, I got absolutely devastated on. So, again, probably well-intentioned at the time. Maybe some people saw the market collapsing the way it did, but there's some bags, you look at it today where maybe you spent a couple $100 on a bag, and that bag's not worth $12. Kind of painful.
A lot of people went through that, and I think generally the philosophy around posting your trades on Twitter is buy my bags so I can dump on you.
Absolutely.
Unless you're using a cryptocurrency for its intended use, you are speculating.
100%.
And generally, speculators make money when other people push the price up.
Mm-hmm.
So
we've learned a lot in the last 16 months or so.
Yeah, don't buy Twitter bags.
Do not buy Twitter bags. You can buy my Twitter bags, but don't buy anybody else's. Okay, so we got a crypto REKT story. Do you have, by chance, a real-life REKT story?
Yeah, so recently I moved, and during my move, I rented a U-Haul, and as I pulled up to my new apartment, my beautiful new apartment, and I was about to move all my stuff in, the back of the U-Haul has like an extended kind of, it comes out just like an inch. It's like a steel step.
Yep,
that
I know
you can use to get into the U-Haul. And that steel step took out some guy's entire bumper, basically, on his brand new car. Yeah. And I stopped. I looked for the guy. I didn't see anyone. Everyone who was walking around just kind of walked by. So I just kind of pulled up, parked the car, and forgot about it, and we started moving my stuff in. Then later that same day, the guy came out and he was like, "Hey, somebody told me you busted my car up. What the hell?" And I was like, "Yeah, that was me. I was looking for you and I didn't see you, and then I was planning on telling you, when I was done moving all my shit in so that I could deal with this afterwards, because obviously moving is a big pain in the ass.
100%.
The last thing you want to do is get into an accident with all your fucking stuff in the back of a truck." So I ended up spending about 5 extra hours on a 16-hour move day dealing with this guy and his problems. And
now, how was he? Was he reasonable about it? Like, to me,
he was generally reasonable, but he was kind of a pain in my ass because at first he was like, "Just give me $500 and we'll call it a day."
Okay.
And then he kind of went back on his word and called the cops, and they had to come and report it and everything.
Come on.
And I had to get the U-Haul back to U-Haul by a certain time.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
So I was trying to give him my phone number and ID so that when the cops came, because they were taking forever, I could, bring the U-Haul back and come back and deal with it.
Right.
So what ended up happening was we waited around 3 hours for the cops. They didn't come. I told the guy, "Hey, if you don't take my ID and phone number now," he refused to take my ID and phone number for hours.
Really?
And so I was like, "If you don't take my ID and phone number now, like
I'm gone."
You're done, because I got to get this U-Haul back. So he took my information down. I went and brought the U-Haul back. I got some food, and then I went back to my new apartment, and he was still sitting outside with the police. And so then I talked to everybody, and we ended up resolving it in cash, which was great because
even with the police there.
Yeah, well, I didn't have the extended U-Haul insurance, so whatever it was going to cost me money. He had insurance on his car. I don't own a car, so I didn't have car insurance. And so what happened was his car insurance premium was going to go up along with the cost for the repair. So we settled on a number that was higher than the original $500 that he offered me. And I just got the cash, got rid of the guy. got my new apartment, and everything's good now.
That's good. Well, I'm glad to hear that the ending was okay. But I'm telling you, this is like the third moving horror story that I've heard in like the last 2 weeks.
Moving sucks, dude.
Oh, I was talking about on the last show. It's like my number one fear. Like I don't want to make another decision because I feel like any other decision I make will require me to leave. We just had another baby last year, and I'm like,
congratulations.
Shit. Oh, thank you very much. It's overrated. I'm not. Most people have kids. Keeping them alive for call me in 20 years. If I kept them alive for 20 years, then you can congratulate me. These things are dangerous items to have in your home.
Yeah, having a baby's easy. Keeping a baby.
Yeah, exactly. These things hurt themselves consistently. So, but yeah, so we were thinking of moving, and I thought I was gonna have a freaking panic attack with a new baby and trying to move. So we put the brakes on that. But Bunchu just moved, and he had kind of a not a similar issue, but he was just about to leave. He was waiting for the movers to come in, and the day of the move, his movers bailed on him. And he had to last minute rent a U-Haul, pack the truck himself, and drive I think it was like 6 hours to his new place. Jeez. I'm like, that's just a horror story right there.
Yeah, everything was good, and I was like, this is the best way to move and the cheapest is just get your own U-Haul, hire a couple of guys up the street, and just move all your shit. Mm-hmm. But then after the fact, I realized that it's probably best to leave it to the professionals.
I agree. I think that was Bunchu's first time using professionals too, so he was feeling like an adult about it, and then bailed on on him at the last minute. So so this is just even pumping the brakes even more for me for trying to move. So I might postpone another year. I was thinking about maybe moving at the end of the summer, but I think you're gonna have to wait for the spring. Okay, so we are going to talk a little bit about the news. So this first news story I have, Randy, I'll read it to you. I just want your feedback on it. This here is from thenextweb.com. FBI asks victims of bankrupt Quadriga CX cryptocurrency exchange to start snitching. So this is kind of interesting. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is stepping into a probe on defunct Canadian cryptocurrency exchange Quadriga CX. In an announcement yesterday, the FBI asked victims affected by Quadriga CX to come forward and complete a questionnaire to aid on a, quote, ongoing investigation. It's kind of funny. This questionnaire is like, what username did you have? What was the approximate account balance in US dollars on January 31st? Some of these were great. Do you have transaction identification numbers, deposit addresses, or hot wallet addresses? Like, freaking FBI, get out of my business. Like, I don't know. How do you feel about first of all, I should ask you, how do you feel about the Quadriga CX, hold debacle as a rule? Are you buying the official he died in India story?
We can speculate on what happened all we want.
Oh, we can.
That generally it's best to continue best practices within cryptocurrency, and that those best practices are, if you don't hold your money off an exchange, then you do not own your money. So to anyone who got hacked on Quadriga or got wrecked on Quadriga, sorry to hear it, buddy, but it's your own fault.
You're damn right it is. Now, obviously, you don't want to hold on there. I live in Canada myself. I had a Quadriga account, but the only reason I had one was I had my bank account linked to it, so I could, drop my Bitcoin in there, convert it to, Canadian dollars, and then immediately deposit into my bank account. So at the very most, my Bitcoin's on there for maybe 24 hours, and then obviously the transaction time between Quadriga and depositing into my account. So
that's rough if you're using it at the time. Yeah.
Oh, could you imagine? Yeah. There's one guy. I think we've been reporting on this Quadriga story for a while now. I believe there was one guy in California that was like moving to Canada and like transferred like 300,000 or 400,000 worth of Bitcoin, and basically was doing that. It was on their site for like a day, and they were just kind of converting it to Canadian dollars, and and it happened then, and I'm like, oh, that's a tough break. Because you can talk about carrying your keys, all you want, but at the end of the day, if you gotta swap into, either USD or CAD, there's only, I don't know how else to do it.
Is there not too many Canadian exchanges that will enable? Because can Canadians use Gemini or Coinbase?
Not so. I can use Coinbase. I've never used Gemini. So originally I used to use Coinbase. I could deposit, or I could transfer money to Coinbase to convert my dollars into Bitcoin, but I couldn't convert it back and then send it back. So it's kind of like a one-way street. So there's a couple, like I use one now called, and I think it was Not So Fast that recommended this one to me. So shout out to him. And it works pretty good. It's called ShakePay. They're a Canadian one. There's also, I believe it's like Coin. I forget. There's another Coin one that apparently is pretty reputable too that I haven't used yet. But
yeah, I believe you can.
There aren't very many.
OKX.
Oh, you can do it on OKX too, eh? Never tried that one.
Maybe.
It's a possible maybe. But yeah, so yeah. FBI coming into Canada, asking people about, their Bitcoin transactions and I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of that. We'll see what happens there. But the next story, you might like this one. This is from The Block. And this is local Bitcoins confirms removal of in-person cash trades. So peer-to-peer exchange and escrow service Local Bitcoins has confirmed the removal of in-person cash trades. The option has been disabled since Saturday, June 1st. Before that, Local Bitcoins users could choose in-person cash as an option when buying and selling Bitcoins. Now, we've talked to a lot of people on the show over the months, and a lot of people started using Local Bitcoins. Did you ever use that?
Sorry, yeah. I never did use Local Bitcoins, but I have close friends who have and have used it for in-person cash transactions. Generally, I think, most people will say that regulation is what we need here in the crypto space. In order to comply with regulation, you got to kind of do what the government says. So I'm not like mad about it. If I wanted to do an in-person cash transaction with Bitcoin, it's up to me to do it. And
right.
If that's the case, then I can just go on freaking Craigslist and post an ad.
Exactly. It always seemed like I never thought it was a good idea. To me, that just seems crazy. These back alley in-person deals on Bitcoin. I don't know. I just feel like they could go wrong somehow. I never heard many stories of it actually going wrong. It just felt like it could go wrong.
Of course, right? I mean, if you look back on Bitcoin's history, there's a lot of shady stuff that's gone down within the space and on Bitcoin Talk and in other forums. So
right.
Generally, keep yourself safe. Don't die for Bitcoin, right? This just doesn't make any sense.
Don't die for Bitcoin is the hashtag for today. So hashtag don't die for Bitcoin.
Yeah. I think you could say beyond just don't die for Bitcoin. It's like people treat this stuff like it's a religion where, they get so angry about which distributed ledger you choose as your kind of favorite.
Right.
And it's just not that important, right? Keep your family safe. Keep yourself safe. Enjoy your life. Don't be an idiot. We get so caught up in this bubble, especially on Twitter, where we think this stuff is like real life.
It actually matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, at the end of the day, we're all flower food. So yeah, don't die for Bitcoin. I like that. That's some good advice here from non-dual Randy.
People have.
You damn right people have. Or at least, and in Quadriga CX's case, maybe fake dying for Bitcoin. So
yeah, fake dying, also real dying around. A lot of people died around the Mt. Gox hack.
Right, 100%.
That was long before my time.
Me too. Oh, I wish I had one.
I wish I had had Bitcoins on Mt. Gox. said no one ever.
Yeah. At least I would have known about it. So that would have been okay. But yeah, I wanted to get involved with the Silk Road at some point. That's my one regret in life is I never purchased anything on the Silk Road. So live and learn.
Well,
maybe there'll be a new one.
I'm sure there's a local delivery service you can get involved in.
You know what? Okay. Speaking of local delivery service, to those of you in Canada, I don't know if you can use this in the U.S. I had a coworker recommend this to me. I do a lot of traveling for work, so I'm in different parts of Canada all the time. And in Canada, marijuana is legal now. I know it is in certain states in the U.S. So I'm not a big drinker. I like to get high. So I like to unwind at the end of a work day. I will stop by a dispensary, and I started using this app called Weed Maps. I have to imagine it's in the U.S. too, but highly recommend. It's a very sophisticated app. It will tell you, it'll pop up a map and show you all the dispensaries, or even, mobile dispensaries. I guess people will come right to your house on bicycle.
Weed Maps is a legitimate business. They have.
So you are familiar with? I wasn't sure if it was in the U.S. or not. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, they actually have like a local spot in the Lower East Side, Manhattan. I'm not sure what they actually do there, but there's a physical location of Weed Maps there.
Interesting. Yeah, big fan of Weed Maps.
Like a storefront. Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder what. Yeah. I'm big fan. So if you're like me and you travel a lot and you find that dispensary, just download the free app. Highly recommend. That's a unsolicited plug for Weed Maps. So we're gonna move on here. I could talk about Weed Maps all day. We're gonna move on. We're gonna have a little bit of fun. We talk a little crypto on the show, but we also like to have a little bit of fun. We like to get to know our guests a little bit. So I'm gonna ask you some rapid fire questions. All right. So, are you ready for this, Randy?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. These are some of these will be crypto related. Some of these won't be. We'll start off with an easy one. Non-dual Randy, what is your favorite movie?
The Matrix.
Great call. For the record, my wife has never seen The Matrix. I'm a huge fan. Now, are you one of these people? I was listening to a podcast or watching a show, and they got into the entire Matrix universe, including I feel like are there anime cartoons or something along those lines that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of, but probably.
Yeah, so apparently there's even more storyline to get through besides the movies. Now, did you see this in theater when it first came out?
Yes. And
did it blow your mind like it blew my mind?
It did. It stuck with me, and then later when I got older and I knew more things, I've watched it a million times since I was a kid. And
that's awesome. Well, I think you might be a little bit younger than me. I'm in my mid 30s. So when it came out, I feel like I was in high school, or maybe even early college. But my mind was starting to appreciate some of these concepts. So it blew the shoes off of my feet. I was probably a little high while watching it too, so that probably helped.
Yeah, I was about 7 years old.
Yeah, so you probably weren't high at the theater like I was.
No.
I was probably my guess is probably 16 or 17 for me. Okay, next question. What was the first altcoin you ever purchased?
Ethereum.
Okay.
Yeah, Ethereum.
Now, was it Bitcoin first and then Ethereum right away, or did you hold Bitcoin for a while and then purchase Ethereum?
Well, no, it was pretty much around the same time. I kind of got involved when I started kind of doing graphics and graphic designs for cryptocurrency. And so the first cryptocurrencies I was paid in were Ethereum and Litecoin. So it was cool. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And that was the advice I got, was basically purchase these three and then kind of start to get involved in the community.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. Okay. Now, when you were a kid, so during the time when you were watching The Matrix for the first time, I always like to know your childhood favorite song. So kind of in that 8 to 12 range, or you know what I mean, like in that time where you're turning into a teenager. What was your favorite song growing up?
I liked rock a lot.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a specific song, but I can't remember the title, so I'm gonna go with that Queen song, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody, great song. That's a good childhood song. I think that one gives you a lot of. I mean, that holds up. There are very few songs that hold up the way Bohemian Rhapsody does. My daughter, my oldest daughter, she just started listening to Queen. She's a big fan. She's a big fan of what's the song from the Flash Gordon soundtrack, Flash by Queen. She likes that one a lot. Mm-hmm. But big fan of Bohemian Rhapsody too. All right, next question. What is your favorite comfort food?
Pizza.
That's a go-to. I literally just had pizza this evening. Are you now? I know a hot topic on Twitter is shout out to Bully. But are you a fan of the Hawaiian pizza, or is there a particular type of pizza that you like, or do you like basically all pizzas?
I normally go with the classic cheese pizza.
No pepperoni or just cheese?
The margarita or the pepperoni. Growing up,
right.
I hated pepperoni, but I grew to love pepperoni. One day in college, I was really high and just decided that it was time to have a pepperoni slice, even though I had always hated it, and fell in love with pepperoni pizza on that day. Taste buds change.
They sure do, don't they? Because there was a lot of things I hated growing up too, and I love them.
I'm not afraid of pineapple and ham, man.
It's so good.
I wouldn't choose it, but it's definitely. I eat everything, so I'm
not going to war for Hawaiian, but at the end of the day, it's a good pizza. You get pineapple, you get ham, you put a little hot sauce on there. That's a treat. I'm not militant in my love of Hawaiian, so.
Yeah, I think ham on pizza is an underrated topic.
I agree. Very good. I was out of town the other day, and I was getting like Canada's version of DoorDash, and I accidentally ordered from like a halal pizza place, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get bacon, ham, or pepperoni. So I'm like, I had to get like ground beef and like mushroom. Like I don't know, kind of weird pizza places. Yeah, it was good, but yeah, it took me a while to figure out why I couldn't get ham, pepperoni, or bacon. A little disappointed, but pretty good pizza overall.
I was in Germany this month, and I had Speck pizza for the first time. There's a name for it. I forget the name, but it translates to fire cake.
Okay.
In German. And it is delicious. It's like Speck is basically like chunks of bacon. Mm-hmm. And there's onions on the pie, and it's just basically like a cheese cracker with bacon and.
Oh, I'm down. That sounds good.
It's dank.
Super dank.
Food in Germany is dank.
Really, eh? I feel like they get the short end of the stick when it comes to culinary cuisine.
I wasn't expecting it, but I really enjoyed it, and I think half of it was because I spent the trip with people that are native there, mm-hmm. and they knew
what to eat.
They knew what to eat. They showed me a good time.
Well, that's good. That's good. All right. Next question. Let's mix it up a little bit here. Growing up, what was your favorite Halloween costume?
Ooh, either pirate or Power Ranger, Blue Power Ranger.
Blue Power Ranger. That was, if memory serves me correctly, Triceratops, right?
I don't know.
I feel like I feel like I got that one right. I caught the very first kind of season of Power Rangers before I thought I was too old to watch it. I probably watched it a little too late in my life, but yeah. Okay. What about zombie apocalypse happens tomorrow. You have one weapon to choose. What's your weapon?
Katana.
Straight up katana. I love it. You don't have to reload it. Unlimited rounds. A lot of people like to go to guns. I'm with you. I think blunt or sharp object is the way to go. I always typically go with the Negan bat or the Charlie Kelly rat killing bat from It's Always Sunny. I think that's in the same vein.
As long as I have something, I'm happy.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of zombies as a rule. So yeah, if I have an opportunity to take some out, I'm absolutely going to.
But I think it'd be really cool to be like fucking Samurai Master, you know?
I agree. All right. We'll do one more. I'm always a big fan of conspiracy theories. Nothing too insane. But what do you have a favorite conspiracy theory?
I don't. I think, maybe we didn't land on the moon. It's hard to tell.
Right. Didn't we?
It's possible that, aliens have come and made contact with Earth and the government has covered that up. That's
Fair
a
enough.
possibility.
Yep.
I generally disagree with the theory that reality is a computer simulation.
Like a Matrix-like simulation?
Yeah, I think that it's an organic simulation, but not a computer that exists within Saturn or something.
I hear what you're saying. Okay, I like this. I've been actually thinking about this a lot more lately. Is the simulation, or some sort of experiment, or what is happening? So I'm with you on that one.
Well, if you think about it's kind of common kind of Buddhist and Hindu philosophy that you live and you die and you live again. And this idea that kind of what the senses tell us is real is all we can possibly know is real.
Exactly.
And so that can be kind of created in a way that provides this kind of experience.
I like where your thought is on that. I've also been playing with the idea of obviously we are just the universe experiencing itself.
That's a fact. Yeah.
I like that a lot. It's just, we're obviously molecularly speaking, we are all connected, and the universe itself is just living our lives through us, and we simultaneously are living every single life at once.
Right. So the Zen mind is that every single experience that has ever been experienced in the history of mankind is kind of recorded and stored in this, universal blockchain called the Zen mind.
I like this. I actually had a quasi-nervous breakdown. Not a nervous, but it feels too. It's too severe when I say nervous breakdown. But I was having some issues dealing with free will, and the more I thought about it, the more I started to understand that the decisions we make aren't ours, and we are just basically any decision we do make is not necessarily predetermined, but there is no other option. Essentially saying that all of our life experience and micro experiences are dictating what decisions we make and not necessarily the choices we make.
I agree, but sometimes that ends up leading to the inability to make decisions in life.
I agree.
When you think, should I choose French fries or chicken nuggets at McDonald's? Mm-hmm. And it's like, maybe that is predetermined. Maybe we don't have a choice there, but it creates indecision when you consciously think
about it. I agree. So, but one would argue that even that indecision is part of the decision. So I had a huge, I was having this kind of meltdown about it. And I was talking to one of my coworkers who's a very smart guy who, does a lot of this type of thought experiment. And he's like, "Oh, you're just talking about determinism." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? I'm not college educated like you are." And he explained to me what it was. And then I started doing a ton of research on it. And I'm like, "Ooh, this is interesting." So I, accidentally fell into a philosophical vortex on determinism.
Yeah, I think practical philosophy is amazing, and it has helped me through everything in my life. But at the end of the day, you can't live like you can't make your own decisions. You have to at some point just decide to live in this world. Just live, and
exactly.
Make decisions that are in your own best interest.
I agree. So no, I knew we would be similar in this thought. So I'm glad we're having this conversation. This is good. But yes, I'm with you 100%. But yeah, this is some interesting stuff. Now, to touch on the moon conspiracy, you had mentioned maybe, or there's a possibility that it wasn't a real event. Are you in the camp that Stanley Kubrick was the one that directed the moon landing?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. A friend of mine brought it up recently, where it was like, how did they transfer live video from the moon back to Earth at that time when the technology was just so primitive?
100%.
And it's interesting. In middle school, I had a teacher who showed us kind of the moon landing conspiracy theory. I generally don't subscribe to conspiracy theories. I don't think they're practical.
No,
so I don't involve myself in them. However, this one specifically kind of always stuck with me. It was just the fact that maybe it didn't happen that kind of changed the way I thought a little bit when I was really young. It was like all of a sudden everything that I never had really questioned, what the media was telling us. And this changed my wiring of my brain a little bit, that opened me up to kind of new spaces and new levels of inquiry that were really helpful for me later in life.
No, I'm with you. I like those events in your life that start to, change or shift the perspective on how you see life. So, this is an interesting conversation. So, I mean, that basically does it for my questions for you. I want to give you some time to talk about some of the projects you're working on.
Yeah. So, there's a lot.
I know there's a lot. You are a busy man.
So I guess I'll start with Honey Miner.
Yep.
Honey Miner is an application that allows users to mine cryptocurrencies and automatically exchanges that for Bitcoin from any computer that they own, any personal computer, be it a PC or a Mac. We recently launched Mac.
I know. Yeah, that was very, very big news. We were chatting about that when you launched.
Yeah, that was a really great launch. And now Honey Miner is building up a new product offering that is called Hotel Honey.
Okay, I like what I'm hearing so far.
Essentially, Honey Miner has partnerships or has its own mining operations all over the U.S. And those mining operations are now renting GPU power to users who are looking to ramp up hash power. Maybe they're Honey Miner users who are only mining on Mac and only mining on CPU, where they're not really making much every day. Yep. They can purchase, let's say, $60 or however much hash power they want to secure a GPU that exists in a mining farm somewhere in the U.S. To mine exclusively for them during that time period that they have purchased. And this is just a really exciting new product offering that we are working on at Honey Miner.
Interesting. Now, could these people can you only mine Bitcoin, or can you select different coins to mine?
So right now, the kind of MVP or proof of concept first version is we are allowing users to mine ETH, which is the mining algorithm for Ethereum, and they can either get direct deposit Ethereum directly into a wallet where they own the private keys, or they can have it automatically pay out in Bitcoin to their Honey Miner accounts.
Interesting.
Yeah, and people are really taking to it. It's kind of an exciting new start to a new product offering from Honey Miner, which is always fun for me.
That's
then
exciting.
We have it's great. And then we have PepeDApp. PepeDApp is a marketplace where artists, generally meme artists, can now monetize their memes, where you can create a meme, upload it to PepeDApp, and sell it at whatever supply and price you choose. We are working to port PepeDApp over from ERC 420, which is an Ethereum standard that we created for PepeDApp, over to ERC 721, so that users of multiple different DApp marketplaces can buy and sell PepeDApp cards, and view those PepeDApp cards just directly within their applications without having to go to their collection on PepeDApp.com.
On the site itself. Now, I think that would allow you to look at it on like Cypher or apps like that. Is that correct?
Yeah. So you would be able to see it on Coinbase Wallet directly on your wallet. You'd be able to see it on Cypher directly on your wallet. It also enables other developers to port PepeDApp cards into current Ethereum DApp games that exist. So if you have a card game that exists on Ethereum, you can port PepeDApp cards into that card game and give them certain powers and attacks and defenses and stuff.
Awesome.
So it opens PepeDApp up in a way that has not previously existed for our application, which is really exciting.
That is exciting. So what are some of the newest cards available on PepeDApp?
Right now, we are just kind of letting artists create whatever they want. Generally, we hold on, I'm signing into PepeDApp right now. But generally, we just piggyback on popular memes on Twitter. So let me just see what the newest card is. A lot of them are psychedelic.
I'm a big fan of the
hottest.
one.
The newest card is the Real Satoshi, and it's Craig Wright in Pepe form.
I love it.
And the card description is, this card has been protected under copyright. So just kind of playing off the idea that Craig copyrighted the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper.
I like that. Well, yeah, I like. So what's the what can I purchase that one for right now?
Right now, this one is 3 Ethereum, but that's because the original supply was 10.
Okay.
So it seems like that supply got bought up at the original price, and now the market is open for resellers to choose their price.
That's nice. All right. Well, that's a steal of a deal at 200. I remember buying these cards when Ethereum was well over $500. I believe, right? So 3 Ethereum. It's a good deal for the creator of Bitcoin himself. So that's pretty cool. So what else are you working on?
So we are also working on Unbanked. Unbanked is a weekly crypto newsletter that for people who can't keep up with what's going on in the crypto space on Twitter and on Reddit. We kind of provide the 5 or 6 to 10 hottest new developments or scoops in crypto, and kind of put our opinions on those within a newsletter format. And Unbanked's previously Blockchain Brew. It's a very popular newsletter. We have 16,000 subscribers. I think we're one of the most subscribed to newsletters in the entire blockchain industry. And I highly recommend it. Everyone who uses it loves it. We have a very high open rates. People just tend to rely on Unbanked as their kind of weekly update for what's going on in crypto. And that's what we do to provide.
That's awesome. And sorry, that Unbanked used to be called Bitcoin Brew? Is that what I heard?
Blockchain Brew, yeah.
Blockchain Brew. Okay, that's interesting.
So it's now Unbanked. We have 11,000 followers on Twitter, so it's a pretty popular application. Like I said, pretty popular project. 11,000 plus Twitter followers, 16,000 plus subscribers, and
holy smokes!
Yeah, generally we just get great feedback.
You're the hardest working man on blockchain, man. Come on, what are you doing?
I'm doing a lot. I got my feet in too many doors.
Holy smokes! So you got let me see if I got this right. So you got Honey Miner, you got PepeDApp, you got Unbanked.
Yep. I have an unnamed business that does social media management for certain blockchain related projects.
Interesting.
And we also are we have just finished our MVP, which is minimum viable product of twet.ch.
Now, what is twet.ch?
So twet.ch is basically, I can't talk about it yet because we're not bringing in too many users onto the platform yet. But essentially, twet.ch is the interface to Bitcoin. So what you can do is you can upload data and information, and in the future you'll be able to do all kinds of stuff using twet.ch on the blockchain, where people can and content creators can get paid for the information that they post online and for the attention that they put to online platforms.
Interesting.
So twet.ch is really exciting because it's a way for users who are already kind of using stuff like Twitter and Facebook for free to own their data and to get paid for their attention on the platform.
Interesting. Now that's twet.ch, TWETCH.
Yep, and you can sign up for the waitlist at twet.ch.
.ch. All right, we'll make sure to put that in the show notes. Now, I'm scared to even ask you, is there anything else you're working on? Please tell me
yes,
that's it. Oh, no.
There's a lot of secret stuff I'm working on that I can't talk about publicly yet.
This is bananas.
But definitely very, very excited about Twetch. Twetch is our next app, post Pepe Dap. It's the next, Coinbase Randy production.
I love it.
I have a feeling it's going to be the biggest one.
Wow. I mean, this is pretty exciting stuff here. We did say don't die for Bitcoin, man. So I think that's enough. Just speaking as a friend and fellow fellow creator in this space, I think that's enough. I think you got to take a deep breath. I don't want you working yourself to death here.
Well, I love working, and I love the philosophy that solving problems is kind of one of the most satisfying things that you can do in life. So whether you're sweeping up dog shit, or you're working in the mines, or you're no matter what you're doing, as long as you're problem solving and you're using your creative mind to do things that have never been done before, it's a very satisfying thing, and I love what I do. I wouldn't trade it for anything. So
that's fantastic.
I want more work, not less.
I love it, Randy. This is one of my favorite conversations that I've had in a long time. So I'm a big fan. Talking with you like this makes me an even bigger fan. So do you have anything else you would like to plug?
No, I guess that's it. Shout out to my crew at Unbanked. Shout out to my crew at Honeyminer. Shout out to Coinbase.
We're going to tag all these guys in the post. So this show's going to come out. So we're recording Wednesday early evening. This is going to come out in about 6 hours or so. So it's we'll make sure to plug all these guys, and we're going to tag them in our post tomorrow morning. So if that does it for you, that does it for me. We want to remind everybody that today's hashtag is "Don't Die for Bitcoin." And for myself and the rest of the REKT crew, we just want to say, don't get wrecked, and that is financial advice.